Howdy, howdy, and welcome to Mr. Shark's Combat Corner, where we're talking all things MMA, pro wrestling, and combat sports. Let's start with the UFC 324 prelims, which kicked off with Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. Nikita Krylov proved to be slightly less bad than background light heavyweight Modestas Bukauskas, as most low-ranked and unranked light heavyweight fights go. Relatively entertaining, as for the most part. We got to see a KO in the third round at the closest to the bell as you can get. 4 minutes, 57 seconds, it looked like. Better late than never, I guess. A long light heavyweight fight, not ideal, but at least someone got finished. Next up was a middleweight fight, Atiba Gautier versus Andre Pulev. Sorry if I butcher that. Won rather convincingly by being bigger and stronger, which was moderately entertaining. We'll give him a passing grade on this one. And then the prelims ended with quite a notable fight, Davison Figueiredo versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And Umar did what Umar does, and Davison did what Davison does, throwing about 1 to 2 punches around. Davison's bantamweight run has been interesting for the most part, but I just don't see him reaching the upper echelon, which I think he's capable of. But these 1 and 2 punches around just ain't going to cut it up here with these boys. Next, we'll move on to the main card. Main card kicked off with Waldo Ocasio-Cortez versus Derek Lewis. An incredibly disappointing fight for Derek Lewis. Let's just hope it gets better in the next one. He gets KO'd about 3 minutes into round 2 by apparent falling over. Next up was Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Sean O'Malley seems to be doing really well with the judges. Seems to be really on the judges' side. I personally thought Song won rounds 1 and 2, but these decisions aren't made by me. So here we are. Sean O'Malley moves up the ranks, and Song Yadong pretty much stays where he is. And then we culminate with the pièce de résistance, what we've all been waiting for, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. A lot of buzz and ado was being made about Paddy Pimblett going into this. He was going off at about a 2-1 favorite on most betting lines, which to me and many others in the know in the sport seemed very confusing, given the fact that Paddy tends to lead with his chin up in the air and has never fought a puncher quite like Justin Gaethje. And that's pretty much what we got. Paddy got caught on the chin quite a few times, but to his credit, he proved Scousers do not get knocked out, because a lesser man would have got knocked out by many of the punches he ate. So good on him for that. Justin Gaethje is your new interim champion and slated to face She Took the Kids Ilia Topuria. God have mercy on his soul. Next up on the schedule is UFC 325. Looking forward to that, and we're going to start with the prelim card. Jacob Malkoun versus Torres Finney is the first fight that we have on the prelims. Torres Finney gets a lot of flack for some inconsistent performances that he's had up to this point, but I think he has the edge in this fight. If we're picking, I'm picking Torres. Next up, we have Cody Brundage versus Cam Rowston. Cam Rowston's looked good in the fights that I've seen him in, and Cody Brundage has looked serviceable in the fights that I've seen him in, but they're both middleweight, so who knows? I'm going to lean Cody Brundage wins by decision for this one. Next up, a light heavyweight fight, Junior Tafa versus Billy Alicana. Light heavyweights, what can you say? Junior has been up and down in his UFC performances, and Billy is a relatively unknown quantity. Given what I know about light heavyweight, I'm going to lean towards Billy, even though he's relatively untested. The tests that I've seen Junior take have not been promising. Next up, we'll move on to the main card. First fight on the main card is Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Rufy. Rufy has proven to be a dynamic and engaging striker and competitive at lightweight. one of the most entertaining divisions in the sport. So that's something to say. But I just simply do not believe his striking and refinement, his movement and footwork are enough to deal with Rafael Fiziev. I see Rafael winning a unanimous decision. Next up is Dan Hooker versus BSD. BSD has proven to be a dynamic finisher both standing up and on the ground. His last fight against Beneil Dariush, he got a KO in roughly 16 seconds, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And Dan Hooker had a rather lopsided loss to Arman Sarukian. Armand is honestly one of the best lightweights in the world, if not the best lightweight in the world currently. And I think that leans a lot towards why he was able to dispatch Dan in such fashion. But Dan's a real top 5 lightweight, I believe, and I don't think BSD actually is. Top 10, yes. Top 5, no. So I'm leaning Dan Hooker by TKO round 2. And finishing off UFC 325, we have our main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez has proven to be a fantastic fighter and quality entertainment every time he's in there. I personally believe that Volkanovski gets the nod, though. The issues that Diego showed in the last fight are his footwork and ability to cut off the cage, or lack thereof. It's been a consistent problem out of everyone from Lobo Gym, and I don't see that really changing between then and now. Volk may be getting a little older, especially given the fact that he's fighting at the lower weight classes, but his foot speed hasn't particularly slowed down, nor has his fight IQ and ring awareness. So I see him winning unanimous decision 49-46. On to pro wrestling. WWE is having the Royal Rumble come up very soon. That's the next major PLE. And I think we pretty much, the smart marks pretty much already know who's going to win. There's been much hullabaloo about various people, about Braun Breaker. I've heard people calling for Tiffany Stratton to win the Royal Rumble, but it seems to me that we've known for about a month or so that Roman Reigns and Bianca Belair are going to win. So I don't understand where the confusion has been coming from, I guess. I'm satisfied with those winners. I think those are pretty ideal. And honestly, I think we're going to be moving towards a recurring segment that I'd like to call Just Put All the Belts Back on Roman. I'm going to level with you here. The business was better back when Roman had all the belts. You know it. I know it. If you search your heart, it's there. Let's just get back to it. We know what the good days look like. Put all the belts back on Roman. Other matches on the Royal Rumble card are Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn and AJ Styles versus Gunther. They seem to be pushing Sami Zayn, which is nice. Sami is an incredibly talented wrestler, and he seems to be over with the fans. And this is a good showcase match for him in Riyadh. He does very well with the Saudi Arabian and mostly Muslim crowd. So this will be a good way to help get him over and ingratiate him on the live stage. But I do not believe he's getting the win there. I'm leaning towards Drew retaining. I believe Drew retains until WrestleMania. After that, we have AJ versus Gunther. Really appears like they're about to feed another legend to the big German chop man. And I'm not a big fan of that, but that's just where we are. We're going to get a quality match out of AJ because we don't get anything but. And I think we can take solace in that. And that'll be it for Mr. Shark's Combat Corner.